This guy, other than Queen Elizabeth, has given more to his category over the last 9 decades combined than maybe any other player in Canadian hockey history. His dedication to hockey started as a 7 or 8-year-old at the turn of the 1940s and continues to the present day because of his influence and his overall impact as one of the great hockey minds of all time worldwide. This guy has done it all, seen it all, has probably done more for the fabric of international hockey and of what they call the system style that Boston played for many years, and the winning coach for Team Canada 72, where it was a triumph of white magic over black magic. And as we like to say, I don't care if you complain or not, it was a triumph of real Americans against Trumpites. White versus black magic. Criticize all you want. I'll do what is my podcast channel. I'll say what I want. I didn't use any curse words. So today we're talking about Bobby Orr's favorite coach, another Donald Trump reference, Harry Sinden. Now, Harry James Sinden, born September 14th, 1932, has served time as a minor hockey player, Team Canada skater, pro skater, coach, and executive. He served as coach, GM, and team president for the Bruins for a number of years and was coach of Team Canada during, again, the 72 Summit Series, won by Canada 4-3-1 on Henderson's goal in Game 8. He is a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame in the Builders category, inducted in 1983. Now, Sinden came to major prominence by playing for the Toronto Marlborough Bantams before moving up to the Great Oshawa Generals of the then Ontario Hockey Association for Major Junior or Elite Junior. He played in Oshawa from 1949 to 1953, and then for 6 seasons in the OHA Senior Division with the venerable and very respected Whitby Dunlops. He was team captain when the Dunlops won the Allen Cup in 57, and then the 1958 World Hockey Championship for Canada in the great European hockey town of Oslo, Norway. He also won a silver medal as a member of the Canadian national men's hockey team at the 60 Winter Olympics in Squaw Valley, where the Americans took the title in a slight upset. Now, the core of this team was the Kitchener-Waterloo Dutchman, with Sinden, one of 4 players from the Dunlops, added to the lineup to strengthen the team for the Olympics. Now, near the end of that season, the Montreal Canadiens, of all teams, placed Sinden on a negotiation list, but couldn't reach an agreement with him. After playing some games with the Hull Ottawa Canadiens in the Eastern Professional Hockey League, he met Lynn Patrick, the great GM of the Bruins, who signed him as a player assistant coach for the Kingston Frontenacs, the Bruins' EPHL affiliate, starting in the 1960-61 season. He was named the first-team All-Star for the 62 season and League MVP for 63. Now, after the association folded, the team became the Minneapolis Bruins of the Central Hockey League, or Central Professional Hockey League, for the 64 season, with Sinden again as player-coach. After 2 seasons, the team moved again, becoming the Oklahoma City Blazers, where Sinden finished his playing career in 66 after 6 seasons with the franchise. Now, in that final season, he coached a team full of stars, Cheevers, everybody else, to the league championship. Now, in May 66, Sinden moved up to the NHL as head coach of the Boston Bruins. At 33, he was the youngest coach in the league at the time, coaching the youngest team. In his first season, with a team again that included rookie Bobby Orr, the Bruins finished out of the playoffs with the worst record in the league. However, in his second year, aided by the acquisitions of Phyllis Mazzino, Ken Hodge, and Fred Stanfield in a blockbuster deal with the Blackhawks, the team posted a winning record. In the third season, the Bruins finished with 100 points, just behind the Habs for top spot in the NHL. They lost to Montreal in the playoffs that year, but in his fourth season, 69-70, he coached the Bruins to their first Stanley Cup in 29 years. Now, that campaign, as you know, Montreal didn't make the playoffs, and he advanced all the way against the expansion side, St. Louis Blues, winning in 4 straight on Bobby Orr's key final goal in the sweeping contest. Now, Despite his success with the team, he had a rocky relationship with Bruins management during the title year, which led to the 37-year-old, he was only 37, announcing retirement just days after winning the Cup. The club placed him on its voluntary retired list, preventing him from taking a job with another team for a year. Now, he then accepted a job with the Sterling Homex Corporation, a home construction company in Rochester, New York, of all places. In October 1970, he published a story in Sports Illustrated declaring that he left the Bruins because of their mid-season refusal to give him a raise for the following year. You know, it often comes down to money. Now, he was eventually offered a job as first head coach of New York Islanders at the beginning of '72, but turned it down. He also rejected offers from the Leafs and the Blues. In June '72, after 2 years away from hockey, he was named head coach and manager of the Canadian team for the 8-game Summit Series. Now, in my gentle perspective, Harry Sinden, I think, was the only head coach that could bring everybody together because he had a myriad of stars: Blackhawks, Chicago, Montreal, Toronto, St. Louis, Minnesota, Detroit, Vancouver, Buffalo. You had a myriad of Eagles, a lot of French players, a lot of inter-league rivals. And besides the mediocre play in Game 1 and the mental lapse in Game 4, Team Canada was a better squad. If it wouldn't have been for those two mess-ups, they probably would have won 6 games in the series, but, they were out of shape. There's no other way to say it. It took a while to mesh. And you can't have a team of 37 players and playing not every best player every game against the Russians. Sinden warned about that. If you watch the Summit Series TV movies about that, Boot Savage plays him, you'll see what I mean. Now, again, after a slow start, it was a triumph of white magic over black magic, say like the Canadian National Film Board documentary. He led the Canadians to a come-from-behind win in Game 8, when he trailed 5-3, 1-6-5, on Paul Henderson's series-winning goal with 40 seconds remaining in the final game. Now, Esposito, who was reunited with Sinden at the tournament, played his probably best 8 games ever and was a leading scorer in the series. Now, Sinden maintained a tape-recorded diary throughout the series, which was turned into an acclaimed book, Hockey Showdown, published in, of all years, 1972. Now, within days after the Summit Series, he signed a 5-year deal with the Bruins as their GM, succeeding Milt Schmidt, who was made executive director. He went on to spend just over 20 years as GM of the Bruins, almost equaling the 30-year tenure, 24 to 54, of the team's founding manager, Art Ross. He added the title of club president in December of '88 and remained as the chief executive of the Bruins until the summer of 2006, when he retired to a consulting role. Now, as general manager, he led the team to long years of consistent success, setting the North American major professional record for most consecutive seasons in the playoffs with 29, which included making the finals 5 times, losing all 5 times: 74, 77, 78, 88, and 1990. They would have made the finals in 1990, 1979. Unfortunately for Bruins fans, Game 7, Guy Lafleur, Lambert. Anyway, you have to see it to believe it. Now, they finished first overall twice. In '83, that was the Ricky Middleton years, and 1990. Now, notwithstanding this long-standing success, he was the subject of controversies ranging from video replays to salary arbitration, and was under frequent fire from Bruins fans. In the '97 season, the NHL fined him $5,000 US for verbal abuse of a video replay official who had disallowed a goal in the second period of a game between the Bruins and the Senators. I think it was $1,000 a settle, give or take. He was also refused to honor a salary arbitration award and let Dmitry Kristich, a 29 goal scorer, leave the team without compensation. He had been highly critical of Kristich's performance in the playoffs and was angered when an arbitrator awarded him a salary of, get this has to be said to be believed, $2.8 million. No 29-year-old player at the time should have made $2.8 million unless in the back of the jersey said Bure he only played 54 games. That's just my thought. Now, Sinden is currently the Bruins senior advisor to the owner, as well as a member of the selection committee for the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's also a hockey GM and scouting instructor for the online sports career training school, Sports Management Worldwide, founded and run by Dr. Lynn Lashbrook. In 2011, his name was inscribed on the Stanley Cup for the second time, a good 41 years after his first Stanley Cup as a coach. Now, with the Bruins, again, that tough start in 67, but 68, lost in the quarterfinals, 69, lost in the semis, 1970, they won the Stanley Cup, and his last full year was, partially full year, was 85, when he lost in the quarterfinals. Total NHL coaching record, 153, 116, and 58 in 327 games. Now, quite a family man. He, him and his wife Eleanor have 4 daughters and reside in Winchester, Massachusetts. Now, he's part of Canadian music history as a native of Collins Bay, beautiful community, is the godfather of all people, Canadian rock musician, the late and great Gordie Downey, the late lead singer of the Tragically Hip. And if anybody knows Gordie Downey, like we do, he is the voice of hockey rock and roll in Canada. And the song Courage is based on partially the 1972 series, and he's wearing a Boston Bruins kind of, knitted jersey in the video. It's quite amazing. And again, the great Boot Savage, the Brunswick native actor, played him in the Canada-Russia 72 series. Any Americans have never seen this two-parter, it's very special to me. I want you to find it out. The majority of the scenes were filmed at the Venerable Aiken Center, which was the home to Danny Grant and Buster Harvey and all the great AHL teams in the Maritimes and Brunswick could play there. Also a basketball venue, multiple sports. It's a very special place for many New Brunswickers. So to see the movie filmed there, but it's pretty well as more. I've read a lot of books about 72. Is one of the most accurate books ever, especially the portrayal of Sinden, John Ferguson, Kenny Dryden, Vic Hadfield, Gilbert Rattel, everybody else. It's Gary Bergman, especially, and my friend Brad James, where I went to school with NBCC Woodstock, was a double for Phil Esposito. So then again, I'm plugging it like this. I never made any money off the movie, but you have to see it. If you're an American that knows nothing about Summit 72, in the words of Gary Bergman, we lost our minds. Phil Esposito lost his mind, and I don't think they're over it yet. They're still having problems. So for me, in my personal opinion, Harry Sinden, for a hockey mind, is top 5 of all time. That might be argumentative, but the fact is, you see everything that he was part of. Team Canada at the Worlds, Team Canada at the Olympics. He helped rebuild the Bruins franchise, made them 2-time Stanley Cup champions, won 72 Summit Series. Is a writer, is a developer, developed and promoted probably one of the most popular franchises in the history of the United States and Canada. The Boston Bruins still remains one of the most popular teams ever because Harry Sinden was kind of the unofficial general of the ship. Not everybody likes a general, but you need him in battle. But the only reason they lost so many times in the finals had to do with 3 things. Let's look at it for a second. The Flyers were a little bit better, the Canadiens were a little bit better, and the Oilers definitely were a little bit better. And that was a big factor. But, seeing the Bruins back on top in the early 2010s, again, is a tribute to what I call the classic. You heard of Coca-Cola Classic? Boston Bruins Classic. There was nothing better back in the day. We're watching the Bruins play the Flyers, play Minnesota, their rivalry, play Montreal, to see the Boston Bruins players go into the crowd in Ranger games. Nothing better than either loving or hating the Bruins back in the day, like people love or hate Montreal. And by the way, Canadians don't hate the Maple Leafs. We feel sorry for them. Most Canadians, anyway. There's no triumph of white magic over black magic with the Leafs. It's a tire busted on your shit box as you're driving down I-95 to see a Boston game. It doesn't end well, put it that way. Again, Harry Sinden, he embraced white magic. That's why he could beat the Russians in 72. Look it up. I'm not making this up. A very important Canadian writer in the NDP documentary said it was a triumph of white magic over black magic. I can't make this shit up. Anyway, and the same thing about comparing Harold Ballard to Donald Trump. Like, people have been criticizing me in recent days, and I delete your comments after reading them because they're so funny. If you don't think that Donald Trump is a poor man's Harold Ballard, you're not a Leaf fan or a hockey fan. Suck it up, Buttercup. That's all I can say. Yes. And by the way, I covered Donald Trump for 35 years as an investigative reporter. I know more about him than I'm letting on than this podcast. But I don't believe in cheap hits. Complain to somebody else. Have a good day. Bye.